The way you start a company is pretty simple. There are always like four steps. You start with the market that you enjoy doing it, like you want to make a change in that market. That's one of the actually most important things. Like if you choose the market wrong, it's very hard to create a successful company. So for us, it was education. And the reason I was interested in education is I was born in Turkey in a very small village in the southeast part of Turkey. And my primary school was just one-room schoolhouse with one teacher, rotating between 5 different grades to teach the class. And you can kind of imagine the quality of education there. So, but for me, like the change, my life changed from some incidents. So my parents had to buy a computer for my older sister, and then over the summer I used the computer and internet to teach myself mathematics, and I ended up winning some awards which kind of changed my life. And I came from a place where I thought I had probably nowhere to go to a place that I'm really happy with. So internet, like from my childhood, I always thought internet would one day become the primary learning destination for most of the humankind. So this is the market. So like I knew that we want to do something in education, we want to create some change. That's your market, right? But the next step is like you have to come up with an idea to tackle the market. So for us, the idea was like, what if we create a marketplace so anybody can teach online? So this was the same idea 8 years ago when we were in Turkey. And our basic hypothesis was like we were looking at things like YouTube, Blogger, which democratize different industries by making anybody publish or anybody share a YouTube video. So self-expression was becoming really common, crowdsourcing was a big trend, and we said, okay, like these trends should also work in education. So we decided to make a place where anybody could teach anything. And our goal was actually having a destination where anybody, like you could learn anything you want. And the only way you can do it is like, if you take the power of the crowd. So that's the idea for us. So I think for us, like most of the time you start with an idea and you realize that's not the ideal idea. You have to kind of pivot it. You have to sometimes change it, adapt to what you learn from users. I think we were an exception in the sense that our initial idea is pretty much the same idea what we have today. For some reason it hasn't changed. But as I said, like it's something you should always question because the market, the problems, the big market you are trying to help is more important than the idea. And the next thing is like, so you take the market, you look at the market, you find an idea, and then you have to convert that idea to a product. And here, when I say product, I'm not talking about just the technology. I'm talking about the product, the experience, what people, like simply that's what your users experience. So for Udemy, the product is obviously our technology platform, but also the courses we have on the platform is part of the product. And that's the place where you have to iterate and work on most. So your goal when you start a company is just getting a relatively small set of people who really like your product. So we've built our first product in Turkey. It was, as I said, around 2006, 2007 timeframe. That was going to be a live education marketplace. So it's very close to what Udemy is today, but we thought the best way to teach on would be live education. Just instructors go on, use their webcams and connect with their students over internet. And we quickly realized that wasn't the right product because when you have a marketplace like ours, there's a huge chicken egg problem. If you don't have instructors, why would students come to your site? And if you don't have students, why would people create courses? So we quickly realized that live education wasn't the right product. So pretty often, people don't realize like how much, like even with the same idea, you may need to change your product several times before you actually find the right mechanic. And until you have the best product, the only thing that you have to care about is like, how can I create the best product from this idea? And at this point, if you are early stage startup founders, the only thing that you should do is talk to your customers, build a great product until you realize that you think your product is really, really working. So for us, the product we built in Turkey didn't work out. We had to shut down the company. And we realized that we needed a density of influencers for this thing to work. And Silicon Valley was the place where you had the highest density of people who are influential in their areas. So we thought maybe this idea could work in Silicon Valley. So I moved over there, brought all my co-founder and the engineer over time, and we gave another shot to the same idea in the United States. We launched the company. It was still very hard. So I think most people think like, there's money growing in trees and we just like pick them up. That's definitely not the way. So we launched the product, but still took us a year to raise our first round. Meanwhile, we got rejected by more than 60 investors. And just one day came where one of the investors said, yes, okay, I'm going to put like a small amount of money in this. And even those investors actually didn't think what we were doing would work, but they thought that they looked at how passionate we were, and they thought if we actually if we invest in these guys, even though this idea sucks, and it's never going to work, they may be able to find something which might work. So, as I said, it was a pretty long time until we were able to convince the first person. But in the end, we were able to do this because we were building a great product that even it was only a few users, they were really enjoying what we were doing. And the next stage is really once you know that you have a product which works, even on a very, very small scale, then you have to convert it to a business. So you go from a product to a company. That's where you scale. So that's what we have been doing the last 4 years. And honestly, like, there are a lot of lessons from that time, but honestly, that might not be very relevant to most of you guys, because like how you get a company from nothing to a place where there's something working is very different than how you take that to scale.